everyone. Welcome to Inside Winston Cup Racing. We're at the Daytona International Speedway where the Pepsi 400 was run on July 6th. A very competitive race. A lot of passing went on and a lot of action. We'll have that for you, plus we have a lot of other things in this half hour of Inside Winston Cup Racing, and here's what's coming up.
Well, it was hot and humid for the 38th running of the Pepsi 400, but Bill Elliott was able to cool everyone off in victory lane. As you can see, he dropped the bottle behind us, but that didn't matter. Bill Elliott came home in victory lane. A major crash involving Darrell Waltrip and Joe Ruttman. We'll bring you all the highlights coming up.
It was Ricky Craven coming home the winner as the Busch Grand National swing to the north continued. Craven victorious in the True Value 250 at Oxford, Maine. We'll have all the highlights.
We'll also focus in on the Folgers racing team. After a near championship winning performance last year, Mark Martin and company have found some potholes on this year's road to the Winston Cup.
Today's show is brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Miller Genuine Draft, cold filtered for real draft taste. So get out of the old, get into the cold. By Goodyear, maker of the world's most successful tires, the Goodyear Eagles. By Kodacolor Gold Film, show your true colors. And by Haviland, add more life to your car.
Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its real draft taste, the world is a very cool place. Fact. For 10 years, Ford has had the best-built American cars and trucks. Fact. For 4 years, Ford has had the best-selling cars and trucks, American or import. Fact. Ford cars and trucks have more repeat buyers than anyone else. American or import. Call it leadership, call it winning, call it anything you want. The simple fact is, Ford is number one. Save now during Ford's leadership celebration.
All of these championship-winning drivers have one thing in common: Goodyear Racing Eagles. The race-winning technology that's found in the Goodyear Racing Eagles can also be found in the world's best-selling line of high-performance street tires, Goodyear Eagle Street Radials. The champions know, and it's why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
In America, your car's not just something you own. It's a part of your life. To give your car complete protection, Texaco is introducing new Havoline Formula 3 motor oil with not one but 3 kinds of protection against heat stress, starting friction, and engine dirt. New Havoline Formula 3. Add more life to your car.
If you join the IWCR Sports Club before June 1990, now's the time to renew your membership. And if you're not yet a member, then now's the time to join. When you join the club, you'll get the all-new exciting Best Stories of the Year video free, fantastic travel discounts, an automatic discount on all pit shop race merchandise, plus much more. To join or renew your membership, call 800-692-7777 or send check or money order for $22 plus $4 shipping and handling to Sports Club, Box 240417, Charlotte 28224.
For the past couple of months, we've been running a sweepstakes here on Inside Winston Cup Racing, and we had a lot of entrants for the winner, as well as the other news and highlights of the Pepsi 400. Let's go to Randy Pemberton.
Well, Ned, after 22,000 entrants in our Miller Genuine Draft Grand Marshal Sweepstakes, we have a winner, and his name is Tom Farrow of Canterbury, Connecticut. He'll take a trip for 2 to Charlotte, North Carolina, and meet up with Rusty Wallace, where he'll fly on a plane with Rusty up to Pocono, Pennsylvania, and take part in all the festivities in the Miller Genuine Draft 500. Well, the news here in Daytona, it was spoilers. The rules were made that 30 degrees was before the Daytona Pepsi 400, and that was moved up to 35 degrees. Also, some strips were added to the roofs of these cars that ran down the windows and onto the deck lid. That gave the driver some more stability during the event. Now, in the hard news, Dale Jarrett announced that he will leave the Wood Brothers after 1991 and join up with Joe Gibbs, the coach of the Washington Redskins, who is forming a new team. A crew chief is yet to be named.
The crew chief is, they're kind of leaving that up to me as to who I can get, and it's pretty interesting that some of the names that have come up that you thought were kind of secure at places, but that this new team with someone that's as good a person as Joe Gibbs, a lot of people want to be involved with that. So
there was also some other news that affected the Pontiac of Rusty Wallace. Longtime engine builder Harold Elliott has left that team. Where he will go has not been disclosed at this time. Also, NASCAR has announced that they will have NASCAR Cubs. They're called NASCubs, and they will be mascots for NASCAR. Richard Petty made the inaugural announcement here at Daytona.
Today's Winston Cup highlights are brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately?
The Pepsi 400 produced one of the most competitive carburetor restrictor plate races in recent memory. Sterling Marlin, who set the pace from the pole position, was quickly kicked out of line on lap 3 by Davey Allison. Davey drafted out front for 5 circuits before Dale Earnhardt put Davey in the back seat. Allison wouldn't again be back out front until lap 142 of the scheduled 160. Ernie Irvin got the advantage on Dale and had his Kodak Chevy pictured at the front of the field until the first of 4 caution flags flew, this one in turn 2, involving 6 drivers, including Lake Speed and Dale Jarrett. Ernie, who led for 85 total laps, and Kenny, who pulled out front for 25, forged to an 11-second lead over third-place Jeff Bodine by halfway and were 32 seconds ahead of fourth-place Dale Earnhardt when caution number 2 came for Chad Little, Phil Barkdahl, and Morgan Shepherd. Each time the green was dropped, Ernie emerged out front, and with just over 40 laps to go, it looked like the Kodak Chevy might make its way to victory lane in Daytona for the second time this season. Sure, there were other drivers that had good runs, like Jimmy Spencer, who showed in the top 10 most of the day, and Alan Kowicki, who was close to the front for much of the afternoon, but finished 14th. But it was Alan that was involved in one of the worst wrecks of the season. Fighting with Darrell Waltrip on lap 120, Alan got nudged by Sterling Marlin, then made contact with DW. He and Joe Ruttman hit the grass, then the pavement, and Waltrip went for the worst ride of his career. Darrell Waltrip was driven to the Halifax Hospital, where he was later released with a slight shoulder injury. The final 35 laps were run under green. Irvin led until he fell off the pace to finish 5th. Bill Elliott, who came back from a stop-and-go penalty, took the lead from Davey for the first time on lap 148. Fellow Ford driver Jeff Bodine followed him to the front, but Elliott was a bit too tough, and Dollar Bill led the final 13 laps en route to a $75,000 payday. Bill, I know a very difficult time in your life, and to come home with a win like this, it must mean a lot for you.
Well, it does. You know, I think it is for my mother and my grandmother. If there ever was a race for anybody, you know, I think, Coors Light, all the guys out in Golden, they've been so supportive of me, even in the bad times. Harley Melling took up for me a lot of times when things weren't going bad or going bad, in this team. So they're a heck of a race team.
The NASCAR Winston Cup drivers and teams are off this weekend. Their next race is at Pocono, Pennsylvania next week. We need to take a short break. Still to come is a profile on the Jack Roush Racing team that Mark Martin drives for. And as we leave you for this break, here's the balance of the finishing order for the Pepsi 400.
Kathleen Turner is the new force hitting the streets.
Much like a private detective to me.
Kathleen Turner is
my father wanted me to be a housewife.
Kathleen Turner is V.I. Warshawski.
You're a disgrace to our profession.
That's what my ex-husband said just before I broke his nose.
Rated R. Starts Friday, July 26th at a theater near you.
For years, you've heard me talk about the fine quality of Plastic Coat spray paints. Well, this year, Plastic Coat has asked Indy 500 winner Bobby Rahal to join me. Yeah, and I couldn't be happier. It's nice to finally have someone help me out. I mean, there's so much to say about Plastic Coat spray paints. The quality, the variety, but my favorite features, without a doubt, have to be how well they cover and how long they last.
You, yes, you might win a new Pontiac Grand Prix in the special days of Summer Sweepstakes. Plus, 4 special days in sweet tickets for the Winston Cup race in Charlotte, October 6th. Plus, airfare and special days in will throw in accommodations. How about 10 cruises for 2? Want to know how to win one? Register where you see this sign. Want to enter your name in the special days of Summer Sweepstakes? Call 1-800-CMC-DAYS. By the way, what is your name? Jerry. Don't just sit there. Enter now.
Take the walk with one of country's hottest bands, Sawyer Brown, and you could be driving a brand new 1991 Buick Regal Limited sedan. To enter, all you have to do is write your name, address, and phone number on a postcard and send it to Take the Walk with Sawyer Brown, Post Office Box 10371, Stamford, Connecticut 06904. Be sure to tune in to Video PM on August 8th, where we'll announce the grand prize winner. So hurry up and enter. This could be you.
Due to TNN Motorsports live coverage of the AC Delco, Blaines Farm, and Fleet 200, Bassmasters, usually seen Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern, will be seen this week 1 hour earlier at noon Eastern. Due to TNN Motorsports live coverage of the AC Delco, Blaines Farm, and Fleet 200, Buckmasters, usually seen Sundays at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, will be seen this week 1 hour earlier at 12:30 p.m. Eastern.
It didn't take the Roush Racing team very long to start winning in NASCAR Winston Cup Racing when they came on the scene. And after a very successful year in 1990, they went into 1991 thinking that they were going to be the team to beat in every race and for the championship in 1991, but it hasn't quite worked out that way.
In 3 short years of existence, the Roush Racing team has come close to winning 2 Winston Cup titles, both in 1989 and 1990. And in doing so, the team has tallied up an impressive 30 top 5 finishes in those 2 seasons. But the early portion of 1991's first half, the Folgers Ford team's flame was flickering.
You know, it was a disappointment to us all, and it was a difficult time, and it was also a time for getting a lot of things together. And our deal is together now, better than it's ever been. And finally, we knew more about our race cars the first half of this season than we've ever known. It just didn't show.
Martin failed to find the winner's circle in the season's first 14 events, and even when it looked like a sure thing, something went wrong.
Man, that was terrible. That old thing that they talk about, lady luck, and well, we didn't have any. I mean, Sears Point was a terrible thing, you know, and it was just unfortunate, nothing intentional, and Talladega was bad, and, you know, only the team knows how good we've run at places.
Without the wreck at Sears Point, there could have been a win and 4 straight top 5 finishes for their Ford. Great by most teams' standards, and in line with the team's previous year's success. But the question is the team frustrated with only 4 wins in 3.5 seasons?
We expected people to expect us to have more victories. You know, we felt like every time we didn't win, we felt worse about it for the people that supported it than we did for ourselves. Not that we didn't want to win, but I think we understood the situation more than people that were on the fringes of it. So we thought, oh gosh, you know, we got to go tell these guys, yeah, I guess we let you down, but due to circumstances beyond our control or the intense competition or what have you, we didn't win. However, we are going to win, and I still firmly believe we're going to win. We're going to win a bunch of races. The plan we have right now is what works. It's what makes Richard Childress' team click. It's what's making Darrell Waltrip's team work real good right now. We're all going to stick together and do whatever it takes to win races. I think when we got to feeling bad, we were feeling bad for the people around us. Maybe we felt like we weren't supporting them in the manner that they were supporting us.
So the team continues to work hard, and with that will come consistent results.
But what do they have to do to win?
There's a lot of chemistry. There's a lot of, when a plan comes together, there can be 10 things out there, let's say, that you're doing, and you can do 9 of them better than ever, perfectly. And that one little piece that you didn't really know or understand or recognize can be the one little piece of the puzzle that causes the other 9 to not show how good, and nobody notices that, boy, those guys really did a great job on this and this and this and this and this, but they just didn't get a good result because of something else. It's hard to pick all those things, you got to go out and you got to race and race and race, and it takes a long time once your programs really come together for the rest of the world to recognize that you're doing good, that you're running good. It takes race after race, and pretty soon they'll look up and say, those guys have finished in the top 5 in the last 4 races in a row. They must be doing something right.
Heading into Daytona for the second time this season, they were in 8th place in the Winston Cup point standings, and for all intents and purposes, out of the championship hunt for the first time in 3 years. So now maybe they can go out and concentrate on winning instead of chasing points, right? Wrong.
It's not like you're going out and collecting points rather than winning races. We collect points because we run well in races. If you run well consistently enough, long enough, you will win races. So we haven't last year we didn't make a conscious effort to not lead, to not win, just score points. By the same token, now that we're 300 some odd points down, we haven't made a concentrated effort to say, look, man, here's the deal. We can't win this points deal. Let's just go win the next 2. It doesn't work like that. You try as hard as you can all the time, and where you end up is where you end up.
You look at IndyCar racing, and there might only be 2 cars on the lead lap at the end, and there might only be 10 cars or 12 cars finishing the race. We finish with 30 cars, 8 or 10 on the lead lap, or like Pocono, right up to 20 cars on the lead lap. And if a caution falls with 15 to go, you got 20 cars that can win the race.
All we can do right now is go out and get the biggest piece of the pie that we can from this point on.
Well, folks, you can rest assured that team will be strong before this year is out. And it hasn't been all bad for them, really, because they are the only team that has 3 Busch Pole Awards so far in 1991. Now let's go to this week's Hmiel Track Talk, which deals with a new special adjustable shock absorber.
This edition of Track Talk is brought to you by Hmiel. Add more life to your car.
Many Winston Cup teams are now taking advantage of the new Bilstein 7-position adjustable shock, running it in practice and during the race. It saves money, space, and most importantly, allows the team more time on the track during practice sessions.
It would probably eliminate about 7 shocks is what you'd eliminate, and having it, and also carrying all that weight and all that extra inventory on the truck. And it's not really so much that, it's just to get the guys dialed in faster. And it's easier when the driver is in the car and he doesn't have to get back out, wait 20 minutes or so to yank a shock off and get another shock put on there. He's fresh, he stayed in the car, the tires are still warm, he can go back out on the track. You can get the feeling, you can really feel the change that you get, and that's what you don't lose when the guy gets unbuckled, gets out, walks around a little bit. And that's what they like, because it splits it about in half of doing it the conventional way that we did it before, testing with teams. They really like that advantage. Inserting the screwdriver and turning it to the different positions. And it's pretty stiff, so that way it doesn't vibrate on the car and change on them, and doesn't give them any kind of worries there.
Were they worried about that to begin with, that if they wanted to run them during the race, that they might change on them?
No, not really, because of how stiff the little detent is, and some of them tape it up just for a little bit of insurance or even a little bit of silicone.
Because the world gets more colorful every day, Kodak introduces a more colorful film. New Kodak Gold 400 film. It now has the richest, most saturated color available in high-speed film. New Kodak Gold 400 film.
2, 3. Davey Allison believes. Mario and Michael Andretti believe. Don Prudhomme
believes. For complete protection, you need a complete motor oil. New Haviland Formula 3 motor oil.
Yeah. Where can you go on Goodyear Wrangler radials? So where can you go on Goodyear Wrangler radials? Just about anywhere you want. Put on a set of Goodyear Wrangler radials, and you'll know why we say the best tires in the world have Goodyear written all over them.
Miller Genuine Draft. It's cold filtered. That's how we keep our commitment to everyone who knows that draft beer is real beer, pure beer, the best beer. It's why so many people can enjoy a beer whose taste hasn't been changed by heat pasteurization, and why so many people are making a change of their own to the genuine draft. Get out of the old, get into the cold.
I do a lot of talking on television, and when I'm not talking, I like to listen. And one thing I like to listen to is good conversations, like the ones on TNN with Dinah. She's got the heart of country in her soul. Thanks, Dinah. Thanks, TNN.
The 1 Mile Oval in Loudon, New Hampshire has created plenty of excitement in past Busch Grand National events, and next week we'll see if that trend continues with the running of the Budweiser 300.
We'll also talk with Jeff Gordon. The 19-year-old hot shoe has dominated other race circuits and is already making his mark in the Busch Series. You'll hear his reasons for success and his plans for the future.
Hut Strickland has yet to visit Victory Lane on the Winston Cup circuit, but with Bobby Allison as car owner and Jimmy Finning as crew chief, finishing first is just a matter of time. We'll talk to the trio about their drive to the top.
The NASCAR Busch Grand National drivers were a long way from Daytona this past weekend. They were in Oxford, Maine for the True Value 250, one of the wildest shows in all of auto racing. Bill Weber was there.
Chuck Bound was the quickest qualifier, but Bound was pushed to the 7th starting position after the fastest drivers drew for the top 10 places. Billy Clark was given the first starting spot and led a field of 41 to the green flag. But he led a little too fast and was black flagged for jumping the start. Jimmy Hensley picked up the lead on lap 4, but Bound overhauled Hensley's tiring Hoosiers on lap 27. Maine native Ricky Craven went by Bound to lead lap 45, and for the next 150 laps, green laps that counted and yellow laps that did not, Craven's car was the one to catch. The tricky track produced some tight racing and some off-course excursions, but no major incidents. Robert Presley retired on lap 20 when his engine simply quit under caution, and Kenny Wallace started in the top 10, but on lap 38, Wallace and Dave Dion got together in turn 3. Wallace ran well the rest of the day, but never contended for the lead. Todd Bodine was a strong warrior, and after pitting midway through the race, his fresher tires moved him in front on lap 200. With 48 green flag laps left, a light rain forced officials to throw the yellow. Prior to the restart, the leaders pitted, and Craven came away with a combination to beat. He quickly worked around Bodine, but the final laps were frantic and frustrating, and included a scoring snafu that had Craven leading on the track, but Tommy Houston leading on the scoreboard. NASCAR corrected the error with 13 laps left. Craven was leading and Houston was chasing, but Tommy ran out of time and Craven came home a winner by 3 car lengths.
I've been coming here as a child, and the 250 is like the Daytona 500 to Ricky Craven, and we finally did it. We won the Oxford 250, and I mean, this is the greatest moment in my life in racing. I've raced for 10 years. I'm 25 years old and I won the 250. There ain't nobody in the world happier.
Today's mailbox is brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft.
And this week's question is from our voicemail box.
Danny Johnson, Big Rock, Virginia.
Why don't Winston Cup cars use automatic transmission like regular cars?
That's a good question, Danny. As of now, we hadn't got it. Nobody has really figured it out yet, whether it's for the weight of the cars or what. But the automatic generates a lot of heat, and we really hadn't found out a way of controlling the heat enough to make it reliable.
If you have any race questions, you can write to us at Inside Winston Cup Racing, Box 240417, Charlotte 28224. Or you can now call us at 1-900-84-RACES. Charge is $1 per minute, average call 2 minutes. Fans 18 and under, get your parents' permission before calling. If we use your question on the air, you'll receive this embroidered Miller Genuine Draft jacket free. Fans 21 and under will receive an IWCR cap and t-shirt.
Sorry, folks, but our time's up for today. Hope you enjoyed the show, and you be sure to be with us here next week on TNN.
Today's show has been brought to you by Ford and your local Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Miller Genuine Draft, cold filtered for real draft taste. So get out of the old, get into the cold. By Goodyear, maker of the world's most successful tires, the Goodyear Eagles. By Kodacolor Gold Film, show your true colors. And by Haviland, add more life to your car. Inside Winston Cup clothing provided in part by Sports Image Incorporated, suppliers of quality racing apparel. Communications for Inside Winston Cup Racing crew provided by Racing Radios, Forest Park, Georgia, the official communications of NASCAR. Transportation for Inside Winston Cup Racing provided by Fleetwood Enterprises, makers of a full line of excellent recreational vehicles. And by your Carolina Ford dealers. Nobody outsells Ford in the Carolinas.
This is TNN, the Nashville Network, the #1 source for country music, entertainment, and information.
Rack and pinion assembly, 87 Toyota Camry. Got it. Muffler, 82 Subaru. Got it. Oil filter, 57 Chevy.
Only Auto Barn has practically everything, including those hard-to-find parts, and nobody beats Auto Barn's prices. Like Monroe-Matic Plus gas charge shocks, on sale now at Auto Barn.
Anti-theft club.
Original club, ultra club, or truck club? For the greatest selection of parts and accessories, remember, Auto Barn's got it when the other guys don't.